Welcome, IB Visual Art students. Today we are cracking the code on Task 3, your resolved artwork submission. We're going to break down exactly what you need to do to really nail this crucial part of your assessment.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about why this matters so much. Task 3 is worth a massive 40% of your final SL grade. Yep, 40%. That's a huge chunk of your score, so getting this right is absolutely essential.
So what does the IB actually mean by resolved? It's not just about being finished, it's about your journey. How you take an artistic idea from a spark of inquiry all the way to a finished piece that powerfully communicates what you wanted to say.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start by decoding the basic requirements, then we'll dive deep into the three big criteria you're graded on: coherence, conceptual realization, and technical resolution. And we'll wrap it all up with a winning checklist.
All right, let's start with the fundamentals. What do you actually need to hand in for this internal assessment?
So for this task, you're submitting digital files of 5 of your absolute best works. You'll need to include the title, medium, and size for each, and it all gets packaged with a single PDF that has your written rationale. And remember, you've got a 700-word limit on that.
Okay, now for the juicy stuff. Let's get into the first big assessment criterion, coherence. This is all about proving that your work is a unified body, not just 5 random things you made.
The key word here is synergy. Your 5 artworks have to work together. They need to create a conversation between themselves, where the whole collection is actually greater than the sum of its parts.
And this is so important to get. Coherence does not mean all your pieces have to look identical or be about the exact same thing. You can have coherence through your style, your technique, or your concepts. Your work can be really diverse and still be coherent. Now that 700-word rationale, that's your golden opportunity to explain that coherence. It's where you justify your choices and connect the dots for the examiner. Just follow these steps. State your intentions, break down your choices, explain the connections, and then talk about how your ideas grew and came to life.
Just look at the difference in the language here. To get that high score, you need to move from minimal relationships to meaningful ones. You want a rationale that truly justifies your intentions, not one that's just limited. That's the leap you're trying to make.
Next up, criterion B, conceptual realization. This is all about the what and the why behind your art. How well did you actually translate your big ideas into a physical form?
So what are the examiners really looking for here? They want to see this incredible synthesis between your concept and the final form of your artwork. The two should feel like they were made for each other, each one making the other stronger.
To hit those top marks, you've got to avoid anything that feels obvious, contrived, or superficial. Instead, you're shooting for a meaningful conceptual realization. You want accomplished and creative communication.
So we've talked about the why of your art, and now it's time to talk about the how. This brings us to criterion C, which is all about your technical skills.
This one is all about showing confidence and skill with your chosen media. Your technical decisions need to feel deliberate and effective. You're showing the examiner that you're in control of your materials and you're using them to serve your artistic vision. It's about mastery. And you can see that progression in the language again, right? Low-scoring work is described as minimal or rudimentary. But high-scoring work, it's assured, insightful, fluent, and effective. That's the level of skill you're really aiming for.
I absolutely love this octopus metaphor from the IB Guide. Think about it. Your studio or your main idea is the head of the octopus, and all your different lines of inquiry, your media experiments, your conceptual research, those are the tentacles. They might go off in all sorts of directions, but they are all connected to and controlled by that central artistic intention. So how do we bring all of this together? Let's go over a final checklist to help you review your submission and make sure you're ready to win.
Okay, let's boil it down. For coherence, it's all about justifying those meaningful relationships in your rationale. For conceptual realization, make sure there's a beautiful, meaningful synthesis of concept and form. And for technical resolution, show off that assured, insightful use of your media. You know, when it comes down to it, this task is your chance to curate your own mini exhibition. You get to be both the artist and the curator. These 5 artworks tell a story. So the final question you need to ask yourself is, what story will you tell?